Good morning everyone. Namaskar to all. This is Balneet Singh Bedi. I welcome all of you to the daily news analysis session by Tathastu ICS. Good morning Lokesh, Priyanka, Mohammed Saeed Beg. Good morning to all of you. So let's start today's session. In today's session, So in today's session, I have bifurcated the news into two sections. Under mains Manthan, we have these three editorials, and under prelims Sarthi, we have these three news which are important from the prelims perspective. Good morning Ruchi, Jivika, Srimant, good morning everyone. So I've started, please focus now. So under these three editorials, I'll give you a brief gist under mains Manthan what all we will discuss, and under prelims Sarthi what all we will discuss from the prelims perspective. So the first talks about the necessity of mainstreaming wetland conservation. So why it's in news? Because the Meghalaya High Court has taken suo motu cognizance of why the wetlands need to be protected and how these sustainable ecological sensitive wetlands needs to be protected, and how the government should take more initiatives and Ramsar Convention playing role in conserving these wetlands. Then the second editorial talks about the steps that we will shape India's AI ambition. Now this talks about that the AI companies in India, that what sort of challenges they are facing with the tech giants which are based in US, in China and all other developed countries. Good morning Kunal, Kamlesh, Purbai, Zeenat, Sonali, Jivika, everyone, good morning. So in this editorial, it will talk about the challenges India's AI industry is facing in the geopolitical arena, and what steps the government should take, and how we can be at par with the global AI leaders or the global AI companies. And last, as we all know, India European Union set year-end deadline for trade deal, security and defense pact. Under this, as we all know, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is in India. She is here with her party, European Union College of Commissioners, in which we have 27 senior politicians who have traveled to India for the first time, and we will see why European Union has come entirely with its parties, and what sort of tariff agreements we are signing, what sort of investment agreements we are signing, what sort of tariff negotiations we are going to do with India, and how come European Union is taking so much interest, what's happening in geopolitical arena, what's happening in White House, what's happening in Russia-Ukraine war, and all of that we will discuss, and why all of a sudden European Union's whole interest is on India. All of a sudden India has become one of the most trusted partners. So we will see in detail about the European Union and India. Now under prelims Sarthi, we have these three news: Aditya L1 mission, then GDP grows by 6.2% in the last quarter, that is October to December 2024, and lastly World Bank report. What World Bank is saying, if India wants to grow and wants to be Viksit Bharat by 2047, at what rate it should grow and what all steps Indian government should take. Yes Janab, you are right, absolutely. So let's start with today's first editorial. The editorial says the necessity of mainstreaming wetland conservation. It's in news because of the suo motu public interest litigation by Meghalaya High Court, and it covers the syllabus of GS3, that is environment and ecology. So the first slide says the Meghalaya High Court recently took suo motu cognizance to monitor wetland conservation, emphasizing the importance of protecting these ecosystems. So firstly, what Meghalaya High Court has done, it has taken suo motu cognizance. Now what does this term mean, suo motu cognizance? Suo motu cognizance, it's a political term, we often read it in polity. So basically when a court or any legal authority take steps in its own accord without any complaint or without any petition being filed. जब कोई कोर्ट या लीगल अथॉरिटी अपने आप एक्शन लेता है विदाउट एनी कंप्लेन, विदाउट एनी पिटीशन इन द कोर्ट, जब वो खुद कहता है कि ये इशू है, इसमें हैव टू इंटरवीन, right? For example, this is the environmental issue. We all have seen court taking suo motu cognizance in human right violations, be it in Manipur, be it in Jammu Kashmir, right? Environmental issues, even at the governance failures, so the court takes suo motu cognizance in all these matters. अगर कहीं पे scheme properly implement नहीं हो रही है, किसी को DBT नहीं जा रहा है, that is direct benefit transfer, or any sort of which is major thing, so government takes suo motu cognizance. So Meghalaya High Court has taken suo motu cognizance in order to protect these wetlands. World Wetland Day, as we all know, it's on 2nd of February, which marks the adoption of Ramsar Convention 1971, an international treaty for wetland conservation. Now this is the theme, protecting wetlands for our common future. I have given the clipping as well, that is World Wetland Day 2nd February 2025, and protecting wetland for our common future, which highlights the role of the wetlands in the sustainable development. Now Ramsar is a city. It's a city located in, Ramsar is a city located in, good morning Abhinandan, Ramsar is a city located in which country? It's located in Iran, right? Very good Mamta. So the next slide says that COP 14 of Ramsar Convention stressed that wetland conservation must align with the global initiatives, right? So COP, Conference of Parties 14, in 2022 द रामसर कन्वेंशन की जो कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी उसमें डिसाइड हुआ था कि जो वेटलैंड कंजर्वेशन है इट मस्ट अलाइन विद द ग्लोबल इनिशिएटिव्स. विच ग्लोबल इनिशिएटिव्स? करेक्ट रुचि. Which global initiatives? SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, Global Biodiversity Targets, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and last, Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. Now we will see UNFCCC. UNFCCC was established in which year? It's a very famous summit. Mamta, Ruchi, Abhinandan, anyone? UNFCCC was established in? It was established in 1992, right? In Rio de Janeiro. It's a city in Brazil, right? It's also known as famously as Earth Summit, right? It's famously known as Earth Summit as well, right? And its secretariat is located in Bonn, that's in Germany. Now what this framework convention does, what's the objective? To reduce, very good, to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions in the environment, right? To reduce the greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere, right? Now we have two very famous key protocols, key agreements under this convention. Anyone? Two key famous protocols I can say under this United Nation Framework Convention on Climate Change. Anyone? One is starts with K and other is P. P for Paris, K for Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol, year 1997, Paris Agreement. That talks about, that's in 2015. Kyoto Protocol, it's legally binding on the developed countries to reduce their emissions. This is legally binding in nature. This is legally binding, right? Then Paris Agreement 2015. So by this we have revised UNFCCC. We have revised all the major points. This is called reverse engineering, right? यहाँ पे आया था wetland से related, but we have revised entire United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Then this IPBES, it was established in 2012, that is 2012. It's basically, again, its secretariat is located in Bonn, that's in Germany. And this talks about, it's basically a platform, a interface for ecosystem services, right? Ecosystem services and biodiversity conservation. All you have to remember is 2012, Bonn, Germany, and it's related to ecosystem services and biodiversity conservation. Right, then we will see why wetlands are important, why Meghalaya High Court has taken suo cognizance. Though we have seen we have a convention as well, Ramsar Convention, but why wetlands are important? Wetlands are one of the most biologically productive ecosystem, covering 12.1 million kilometers square globally, that is around 6% of the Earth's surface, and contributing 40.6% of global ecosystem services. Right, so they cover 6% of the Earth's surface. Right, and they provide flood control, act as natural buffers, absorbing excess water purification, they filter pollutants and recharge groundwater. Carbon sequestration, they store significant amounts of carbon, aiding in climate mitigation. It's a biodiversity support, that's like habitat for all the plants and animal species, numerous species including migratory birds. Then it also provides livelihood and economy. It sustains fisheries, agriculture and eco-tourism. So because of this, these wetlands are important. But now the editorial says there's alarming decline of wetlands, right? And it has given us some data which is not important for exam, but you should know that wetlands are declining, and one or two example you can quote if you can recall, if you can remember, right? So in India, Mumbai has lost 71% of wetlands, that is like from the year 1970 to 2014. Then second, East Calcutta wetlands, which shrank by 36% from year 1991 to 2021, and last, Chennai has lost 85% of its wetlands. Right, so this is a huge number. Chennai has lost 85% of its wetlands, and economic cost of wetland loss, that is loss of around this hectare per year. And this year, again, the data is not important. Why I have mentioned this point? This place, right, Kali is in Colombia. You should be knowing this. It's a places in news, places in editorial, places in The Hindu. So you need to remember Kali in Colombia. This data is not important, but this you just try to remember at least one, because wetland is one of the very important topics right from prelims and mains perspective. And when I'm saying it's important from prelims and mains perspective, I will give you example once we complete the editorial. I have jotted down some PYQs for you today, and I will show you how important and how recurring this topic is being asked by UPSC. Right, so then India's efforts, what efforts India is putting to conserve these wetlands, and what are the challenges which India is facing. So first, Ramsar sites in India. India has 89 Ramsar sites. This is the current figure. I have picked it up from Ramsar Convention website. Again, it's subject to change. After 3 months, it will be more than this, right? So as per now, it's 89 Ramsar sites, which covers 1.3 million hectares, around 8% of total wetlands. These sites range from coastal wetlands to Himalayan water bodies. However, अगर हम किसी साइट को एक रामसर साइट बोल देंगे, that does not mean that it will be conserved. किसी चीज को टैग देने से वो कंजर्व नहीं हो जाता. इट्स जस्ट एक अवेयरनेस हो जाती है, ओ दिस पर्टिकुलर साइट इज अ वेटलैंड साइट, इट्स अ रामसर साइट, सो दिस नीड्स टू बी कंजर्व्ड, दिस नीड्स टू बी सस्टेनेबली इकोलॉजिकली मैनेज्ड. सो हाउएवर, डेजिग्नेशन एज अ रामसर साइट डज नॉट गारंटी इट्स कंजर्वेशन. सिर्फ नाम देने से कंजर्वेशन की गारंटी नहीं दी जा सकती, राइट. देन चेंजिंग वेटलैंड कॉम्पोजिशन, 66.6% ऑफ इंडियन वेटलैंड्स आर natural, right, and rest are man-made. Man-made wetlands are increasing while natural wetlands are shrinking. जो natural wetlands हैं, they are shrinking, but the man-made ones, they are increasing. So we have to conserve the natural wetlands too. Coastal wetlands are also declining at a significant pace. So we need to see that what all we can do to protect these ecologically sustainable wetlands. Then governance and policy gaps. Conservation efforts focus only on ecological aspects, ignoring social, economic and land use changes. There is lack of data on carbon storage and climate mitigation, which hamper the effective policies. See, we do not have any such data. We have 89 Ramsar sites and many more other wetlands which does not get covered under the Ramsar list. We do not know that how much carbon these wetlands are storing. right? Once we know that these amount of carbon, these tons of carbon these wetlands are storing, so we can have our effective policy, because global arena honorable PM is promising net zero target, या हम अपना carbon emissions को reduce करेंगे. But with this data it will help us in the global level as well, in the global summit as well, कि we can go and say that this much carbon, this much emission of carbon we are storing in our wetlands in India. But for that we need to have the data on carbon storage, on carbon sinks, right? So that we can help in climate mitigation as well. There is poor enforcement of wetland protection laws, which lead to rampant encroachment and degradation. See, laws banana बहुत easy है, right? It's still one of the easiest tasks, but getting it implemented, that too on the ground level, that is the real task, right? Laws very look good on the board, but grassroots level पे उस चीज को implement करना, that is the real task. That is the job of the executive. That is the job of you if you become a officer, if you become a bureaucrat, to proper enforcement of the laws at the grassroots level. So poor enforcement of wetland protection, it leads to rampant encroachment and degradation. Right, now what's the way forward? What can we do in future? We can link wetland conservation with urban planning, water management, climate policies and biodiversity strategies. We can implement nature-based solutions for sustainable wetland use. We need to have strict enforcement of wetland protection laws to prevent the encroachment. We have to evaluate wetland carbon stocks to strengthen India's climate action plan. Right, this we have discussed. We have to evaluate कि wetlands में कितना carbon हम store कर पा रहे हैं to strengthen India's climate action plan. We need to strictly enforce the wetland protection laws. We need to implement nature-based solutions. We have to link wetland conservation with climate change, with biodiversity strategies. Right, now these are the PYQs. These are the PYQs from the topic of wetland. This is the PYQ of 2018. This is the PYQ of 2022. I hope it's visible. It's 2022 and 2018. So this has been asked in your UPSC prelims, right? All this, once we end the session, you have to solve these PYQs. You have to solve these PYQs and jot down in the comment box that first question, this is the answer. Second question, this is the answer. Then I have two more questions. See, this question again in 2019. It has been asked in 2019. We have 2022, 2018, 2019. What? Ramsar Convention, right? And then I have one more question. Again in 2014 it was asked, right? With reference to conservation organization Wetland International, consider the following statements. They have given you two statements and then the options. So in total you have 4 questions, though there were 7 questions, but I have jotted down only 4 important ones, right? So they can be asked again. So try to solve these questions, not right now. After the session gets ended, you have to solve these questions and give me the answers in the comment box. Right, now I'll just tell you one more thing here. If you will solve these questions, suppose this is the question, I'll tell you how to solve. If you're gonna solve, the question says which one of the following is an artificial lake? The correct answer is Kodai Canal, Tamil Nadu, right? अगर आपने इस आंसर को टिक कर दिया, you are like, sir, my job is done. The second question is A. Half of your job is done, your full job is not done yet. Now what does I mean when I say that? I am saying you have given the correct answer, very good, but you have to learn. You have to learn these 3 options as well. Why UPSC has not given any other option? Why only Kolleru, Nainital, Renuka Lake in Himachal, Uttarakhand and Andhra Pradesh? Why they have picked up only these 3 lakes? Why not any other lake? These lakes are important. These lakes have chances to get repeated in upcoming prelims. So read these options as well. Read these options in detail. Make notes, right? About Kolleru Lake, about Nainital Lake, about Renuka Lake, right? And give me the answers as well. Go through the correct option as well as the incorrect options as well. Same goes here. And read about wetland conservation management rules. What does they say? 2010. Then again read about these rules. Okay, read about Ramsar Convention in detail. Then comes the mains question. See, UPSC has asked prelims as well as mains question, and very recent 2023, right, last year mains, there was a question, comment on the National Wetland Conservation Program initiated by the Government of India and name a few India's wetland of international importance included in the Ramsar sites. Such a easy question, very easy question, right? 15 mark question, you have to write it in 250 words. Then again there was one more question which was asked in 2018. What is wetland? Simple, a plain definition should be the introduction. What is wetland? Explain the Ramsar concept of wise use in the context of wetland conservation. Cite 2 examples of Ramsar sites from India. Very basic questions in 2018, 2023. Try to practice this as well. So after this, we are able to comprehend that wetland Ramsar Convention is very, very important from UPSC perspective, both from prelims as well as mains. Now, the second editorial says the steps that will shape India's AI ambition, right? Basically, it talks about what challenges India's AI industry is facing and how it can compete at the global level with big US tech giants which are sitting at Silicon Valley, and how India can be at par with them, and how India can follow a balanced approach, right? Not to have strict AI rules and not to have too lenient AI rules, and need to have a balanced approach and have minimal government intervention so that the companies can flourish, right? So why it's in news? Artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. And one more point I would like to add, if you are reading newspaper every day, you would notice that more AI articles have started coming after DeepSeek, right? By the China model, right? These AI and emerging technologies have become more famous, right? Have become more famous because of this DeepSeek, that is by China. So more AI articles, more AI news has started coming in, right? Even in union budget we have AI Center of Excellence, right? I've discussed in my first session when I did that last week, I guess, and it covers the syllabus of GS3 Science and Technology. Now we will see India's AI competition and challenges. India faces a 3-way AI race, competing with Silicon Valley while being chased by China and Southeast Asia, right? Now what does this mean? India is competing with Silicon Valley, US. We have all big tech giants there. We have Open AI, right? That is ChatGPT, which we all aware of. Open AI, we have Google, we have Meta, right? So all these are working in USA, Silicon Valley, while being chased by China and Southeast Asia. First we have US, हमें US के साथ compete करना है. At the same time we have China as well, right? So we are being chased by China. China has brought its own AI model, that is DeepSeek, right? And in order to bring any AI model, I would say data center is required. Data center is the backbone of AI economy. Learn this line. Data centers are the backbone of AI economy, right? India need to have a data center first, and 100% the government is working, right? It will take time, but the government of India is working. It's taking step towards the goal of having its own AI model, right? So it's competing with Silicon Valley while being chased by China and Southeast Asia. Then Indian software firms struggle to secure AI projects due capability gaps despite having a skilled workforce. Though we have a skilled workforce, but still we are facing some capability gaps as well. Now AI adoption and regulatory concerns, right? AI is essential for export competitiveness, yet its adoption faces hurdles. Now what sort of hurdles it's facing? First, it would lead to job displacement. Second, it will lead to algorithmic bias and discrimination. And third, it will lead to deepfake threats. You just have to learn this. It will lead to job displacement. How it would lead to job displacement? For example, if you visit any of the site, I would say educational sites, चलो किसी educational site का example लेते हैं. If you visit any of the educational site, you will see at either the bottom right corner or bottom left corner we have AI chatbots. So AI chatbots, they are replacing whom? They are replacing human call center agents. So it will lead to job displacement, right? We have those chatbot, you know, how can I help you? It just pops up, right? Either from this side, this side, this side, or this side, right? So how can I help you? So they're replacing what? They are chatbots, AI chatbot. They're replacing whom? They're replacing human call center agents. So it would lead to job displacement. Then we have algorithmic bias and discrimination. How algorithmic bias and discrimination? Suppose we have fed the model some data, right? And suppose we have AI based recruitment tools. We have AI based recruitment tools and they're filtering out candidates who are from the marginalized sections. They are filtering out candidates from the marginalized sections on what basis? On the basis of historical data. On the basis of historical data, they are segregating the racial groups, ethnic groups, as well as from the marginalized sections. So it would lead to bias, it would lead to discrimination, it would lead to inequality of opportunity, right? So again, it's AI can be discriminating as well based on the data it's been fed with. Then we have deep fake threats. Deep fake threats, we have seen many examples on our social media platforms, Instagram, Snap. We have seen that how much deepfake is creating financial frauds, financial crimes. How? They have voice recording, right? They just call, it seems like, oh, someone is known calling me, and they do some sort of transactions and all, which we're not going to go in detail. So they do some sort of transactions and it will lead to financial crime, financial frauds. Even, you know, there was one more video in which there was some politician whose speech was edited by this deep fake, and it created more communalism. The speech was made more of communalism nature, more of regionalism nature just before the elections. So it will create ruckus in the society, it will disturb the peace and stability of the society. So these are the dangers, these are the challenges. I've tried to explain it with examples so that it's easy for you to remember and recall. Right, now this is the economic survey, you can just have a look in it. And then comes the regulation debate, that is India versus global trends. So what's the approach? What's the approach of the countries? How US is approaching, how China is approaching, how India will approach. So the first point says United States approach. United States approach, it's hands-off, prioritizing innovation. What does this say? United States has this approach of having minimal intervention, right? It gives it follows a market-driven approach. I would just use the keyword here, that is market-driven approach. Right, now what market-driven approach says? Market-driven approach says that जैसा market में सब चल रहा है, let it be, and the government will only regulate. It will not intervene in every decision of the companies, right? So it will have a minimal government intervention. So they have hands-off, prioritizing innovation. Let companies do their job, let them innovate, let them come up with something new. We're not gonna intervene, we only gonna regulate. There's a difference between intervening, there's a difference between interfering, and there's a difference between interfering and regulating, right? Then again, what's the approach of the European Union? They have strict AI regulations due to structural deficiencies, lack of supranational constitution, and concerns over AI surveillance. So European Union has a little bit different approach, right? And it has recently banned the face recognition system in the public spaces because they believe it would hamper privacy, it would lead to mass surveillance, it will have ethical concerns as well. So European Union has that sort of approach. But India is in dilemma. India is like, ab main kya karu? European Union is doing this, US is doing this. So India's dilemma is over-regulation could slow AI adoption and cause IT firms to relocate to AI friendly countries. Now India is saying, if I over-regulate AI, अगर मैं बहुत ही strict laws बना दूंगा, so what will happen? All the companies would move to AI friendly countries. AI friendly countries would be, AI friendly countries would be UAE, would be Singapore, right? These are AI friendly countries. So companies India में नहीं आएंगी because you have too much regulations. They will say, union government, you'll have too much, you are over regulating AI, we're not gonna come there. We'll go to AI friendly countries, we'll go to UAE, we'll go to Singapore, we'll invest somewhere there, we're not gonna come to India, right? So India can't have too strict AI laws, as I said before, and can't have too lenient laws. It needs to follow a balanced approach. It needs to have a middle path approach, right? So India needs to have a balanced approach for that. Right. Now, India's strategic AI roadmap. India has localized a significant portion of AI value chain, but must prevent excessive compliance cost. Instead of AI specific laws, strengthen the existing frameworks. Rather than bringing some new law, that is AI specific law, we need to strengthen the existing mechanism which we have, the rules, the regulations, the orders, the bylaws, the acts. We need to strengthen that, right? So we have antitrust, corporate liability, free speech is a viable option. We need to encourage open source AI model, global partnership, and secure energy and computing resources which are crucial for AI development. So just a skim through this slide. Right. Then what's the way forward? We need to strengthen the existing laws, as just said, instead of imposing new AI specific regulations, right? So that we do not over regulate the AI industry and we give free leverage, thoda bahut free hand to the AI companies so that they can innovate, they can come up something new. We have to only regulate, not over regulate. To advocate for open and commercially viable AI models, to leverage diplomatic influence to secure AI partnership for computing resource energy, and we need to spend more on research and development. We need to give a good amount of budget to research and development in all the emerging and recent technologies. To invest in AI research, upskilling workforce, and fostering AI driven startups to enhance competitiveness, right? So have just skim through and learn any two, right? Then the third editorial talks about India-EU set year-end deadline for trade deal, security and defense pact. Why it's in news? Because of the visit of the President of European Commission, that is Ursula von der Leyen. She is in India along with her party, that is the European Office of Commissioners, in which we have around 26-27 senior politicians, and they are coming to India for the first time. So all of a sudden, India has become more trusted ally of European Union, European Commission. And why it's happening? First, we'll see this syllabus. It covers GS2 international relations. It also covers GS3 Indian economy. Why Indian economy? Because of the trade, investment agreements and trade negotiations, all the trade barriers which is happening, right? So firstly, I would tell you that why European Union is taking so much interest. First, we all know the uncertainty of geopolitical arena. The first is we have Donald Trump at White House, and that guy is unpredictable. The president is unpredictable. So we have Donald Trump at White House. Then Russia-Ukraine war. We have Russia-Ukraine war, right? Then third, we can say that European Union wants to diversify its supply chain integration. It wants to diversify its supply chain integration, and it needs to reduce reliance on China. And it can reduce reliance on China by having more cordial, more close relation with the India, right? By having more close relations with India. So one of the reason European Union is calling India as it's one of the most trusted ally. And the irony is, this is the same European Union which was questioning human rights violations in Manipur few days ago. It was the same European Union which was questioning religious freedoms in India, and now India has become a close friend. So we will see that what sort of agreements and they are expecting to sign. Right, before that I've just given you a gist that what's happening, why European Union is in India, right? So India-EU free trade agreement. India and European Union aim to conclude their free trade agreement by the end of 2025 to enhance trade, investment and economic collaboration. We are having discussions so that we can have a free trade agreement by the end of 2025, which will cover the aspects of trade, the investment as well as economic collaboration. And under that we will be having investment protection agreement, geographical indication agreement, which are the part of the deal. If signed, agar ye sab final ho jata hai by the end of Very good, Mohammed Saeed. Its headquarters in Belgium. If signed, it would be one of the largest trade agreements globally. अगर ये साइन हो जाता है, then this would be the largest trade agreement globally, right? India and EU are negotiating a strategic security and defense agreement to replace the strategic roadmap. This aims to enhance defense cooperation, cyber security, counter-terrorism, and intelligence sharing, right? Then the tariff barriers, what EU is saying, what sort of negotiations are going on. You just have to be aware, right? Not to learn, just be aware. So tariff barriers, EU demands lower tariffs on cars and alcohol imports, which India has resisted, right? They are asking for some negotiations on car as well as alcohol imports, which India has resisted. And what India is demanding, basically India is demanding three things from them, right? So the first, India is saying ki you open up your market, open market for skilled workforce. Right, open market for skilled workforce, right? We need to protect the small and medium enterprises, India is also saying reduce carbon tax. If we are sending you something, if you are exporting something and you're putting carbon tax, please reduce that, right? You have to reduce in order to sign a FTA. See, these things are not mentioned in the editorial. These are extra points. These are extra points I'm telling you so that you have a comprehensive understanding. You need to know in and out of the editorial as well, right? So open market for skilled workforce, कि जो भी हमारी workforce जाएगी उसके लिए आप थोड़ी market को open करो so that they can go and work there, and small and medium enterprises को आप थोड़ा leverage दो, थोड़ी ज़्यादा space दो, as well as to reduce the carbon tax. So market access for Indian professionals and service industries in Europe, protection of domestic industries from excessive competition. This is another point, right? Now changing geopolitical context, US trade policies, potential trade tariffs from US under Donald Trump leadership may push the EU, European Union to diversify trade partners. Russia-Ukraine conflict, Europe seek to strengthen economic and defense ties with India as strategic partner. China's factor, EU's de-risking strategy aims to reduce dependence on China by diversifying trade partnerships, making India a key alternative. They want to diversify their supply chain integration. So India could be a key partner and they don't have to over rely on China. So trade, if I talk about trade, one fact I would tell you, EU is the largest trading partner of India. EU is the largest trading partner of India. How much we are trading with India? We are trading around $137 billion. So European Union is the largest trading partner of India, and how much are we trading? We are trading $137 billion, right? This is 12% of India's total trade. जो 12% इंडिया का ट्रेड है, that is with European Union. जितना उनके लिए important है उतना हमारे लिए भी European Union is important, right? But India's stand is very clear right from starting. See, India's stand is clear as in our honorable PM visited 5 European countries in last year 2024. So that means India want good relations with them, right? But India has few of the demands which I'm sure they will cover as well, right? Now last way forward, right, how they both should do their investments and agreements in the future. So India should negotiate phased tariff reductions to protect domestic industries and increase the market access for European Union. India should push for technology sharing agreements in sectors like green energy, artificial intelligence and cyber security, strengthen India-EU defense collaboration by promoting joint military exercises and counter-terrorism initiatives. See, India wants to diversify its market for defense equipment, right? And European Union wants to sell their defense equipment. So India is ready to take, European Union is ready to sell. So both parties are on the same page. So we need to expand our defense cooperation as well. Right, India should advocate for easier visa and work permits for Indian professionals in the EU. India must capitalize on Europe-China plus one strategy to position itself as a reliable trade and security partner. So learn any 2 or 3. See beta, the relations of India with the European Union always had a potential, right? Since years it had a potential, but it has not been harnessed properly. But now with Donald Trump in the White House, Russia-Ukraine war, China's aggressive expansionist policies, and whatever happening in the geopolitical arena, it's high time that both India as well as European Union come together and move towards a sustainable future so that both countries can benefit with this. So with this, we have completed the editorial part. We have completed the mains manthan part. Now we will come to prelims Sarthi, under which we will discuss all the news important from prelims perspective, right? So the first is Aditya L1 mission. ISRO's Aditya L1 mission unlocks solar flare secrets with new image. So Aditya L1, it's country's first space-based solar observatory which captured the first ever image of solar flare, that is Karnil, right? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's Karnil, first ever image of solar flare. So this is the image, Karnil, right? It's been in the newspaper. The observation was made by Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope payload, which recorded the flare in lower solar atmosphere, that is photosphere and chromosphere. So all you have to remember is, Aditya L1 mission, that is capture the first ever image of solar flare, that is Karnil. Right, then how it will help? This breakthrough is crucial for understanding solar explosions. To understand solar explosions and their impact on Earth. How their impact on Earth? How would it be helpful for all of us? Basically, it would be helpful for all of us to understand the geomagnetic disturbances, to understand the space weather, to understand the satellite operations. Right, so this is a breakthrough. This is very helpful for India. Now I have a prelims question for you. It's a practice question. Please solve and give me the comment. Give me the comments which is the correct answer. Okay, so you guys are saying B, Zenith B. Okay, let me also see. Consider the following statement regarding the Aditya L1 mission. It is India's first space-based solar observatory to continuously observe the sun without any atmospheric interference. This is right. The mission is designed to study sun's corona, solar emissions and solar wind dynamics. Aditya L1 was launched by ISRO and will be positioned at Lagrange point of the Sun-Earth system. So the correct answer is D, right? It's the first space-based solar observatory. This is right. Continuously observe the sun without any atmospheric interference. So the correct answer is D. Right, D is the correct answer. So there were two people who were asking me the meaning of geopolitics. What is geopolitics? So basically geopolitics in simple terms, it's the influence of geography. Influence of geography means where the country is located, right? The location, the resources, as well as the physical terrain, right? How it influences the country's strategic interest in the global arena, right? For example, if I give you, we have Indo-Pacific region, right? Indo-Pacific region, we have Indo-Pacific region. You all must have heard about this. It's significantly or geopolitically very important. Why it's geopolitically important? Because of n number of trade routes. We have trade routes here. We have military presence here. We have military presence here. And we have many geopolitical interest of countries. Which countries? We have interest of US, interest of China, interest of India. So in simple terms, influence of geography, the location, the resources, the physical terrain in the location of the country and the global arena, right? Yes, D is the Rishi, Sonali, Mamta, Naveen, Ankit. D is the correct answer. Now, second prelims. This is not important from exam perspective. You just have to have rough idea, right? That last quarter GDP has grew by 6.2%. That is from October to December 2024. That is the quarter 3, right? Now quarter 4 we have January to March 2025, right? So it has grew by 6.2%. Real GDP grew by 6.2% October to December according to National Statistical Office. This marks an improvement from 5.6% in the previous quarter through significantly lower than 9.5% growth. This while growth was led by, how this growth was led by higher government spending and private consumption. Investment growth slowed and imports declined. There was higher government spending and more consumption from the customer side. See, now the growth rate of this quarter, that is January to March 2025, is very significant. If we will grow by 7.6% in this quarter, then only we will be able to achieve our target of 6.5%. that is the projected economic growth rate of this fiscal year, as said by CEA, that is Chief Economic Advisor Nageswaran, VA Nageswaran, to the Government of India. He said our projected economic growth is 6.5% of this fiscal year. We need to grow by 7.6%, and CEA, that is V Nageswaran ji, is very hopeful that we will achieve 7.6% target. Why? Because of the Mahakumbh, right? There was excessive government spending as well as consumption from the customer side, so it will give boost to the GDP, it will give boost to the economy. So we are hopeful that we will achieve 7.6% target, but again that would be seen later, right? So that's all you have to remember. Okay, one thing I have to tell you, National Statistics Office, it comes under which ministry? National Statistics Office, tell me everyone. Rishi, Sonali, Mamta, Naveen, Ankit. NSO comes under which ministry? It comes under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, right? NSO was formed in 2019. It was formed in 2019 by combining CSO and NSSO, that is Central Statistical Office, as well as National Sample Survey Office. NSO also release PLFS and Consumer Expenditure Survey. These 3 points you have to learn. It comes under which ministry? Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Very good, Abhinandan. And it was formed in 2019 by merging whom? CSO, that is Central Statistical Office, and National Sample Survey Office. So we merged this and formed National Statistical Office, and they also release survey, that is Periodic Labor Force Survey, and CES, that is Consumer Expenditure Survey, right? It's okay, Ankit. If you don't know, it's okay, but learn. Now solve this. I'll see how many of you have heard it very attentively. I want the right answer of this. I've covered all the points. There's no new point here. Though in Aditya solar mission question there were new points, but here I've covered 3 of them. So give me the correct answer. Very good, Mamta, Ruchi, Mohammed, Saeed, Abhinandan. The correct answer is B, right? Because the first statement says the NSO functions under Ministry of Finance, Government of India. No, it comes under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, right? It was formed by merging Central Statistics Office and National Sample Survey Office. This is right. The NSO, that is National Statistical Office, responsible for conducting the periodic labor force survey in India. There was one more I've told. Give me a quick comment. One more I've told you. One more survey. CES, Consumer Expenditure Survey. Okay, so it releases 2. So the correct answer is 2 and 3. Now, the last World Bank report. So again, this is not as important. Just it was in the news, so I would tell you. So what World Bank has released a report in which it says if India wants to be a high income status country by 2047, or in simple words, अगर भारत को विकसित भारत बनना है by 2047, it has to grow by 7.8% for the next 22 years. Then only it will achieve the target of high income status country by 2047. This is said by World Bank. If India needs an average growth rate of 7.8%, it's saying average growth. This is the average over the next 22 years to reach this milestone, which is ambitious, but it can be achievable. It's achievable with targeted policy actions, right? So it's just like hoping, it's just telling India that you have to grow by this if you want to be developed India by 2047 or Viksit Bharat. India's past economic growth is this, provides a strong foundation. The future growth, that is targeted policy actions. Which policy actions? These policy actions. It will depend on deepening global integration, boosting investment, enhancing labor force participation and accelerating productivity growth. हमें ये सब steps पे काम करना है in order to achieve the target of 7.8%. Right, so with this I end today's daily news analysis session. I wish you all the very best. Study well for prelims. Solve those PYQs which I have given. Drop down in the comment, not the live chat, drop down in the comment box the correct answers of all 4. Read the incorrect options in detail, make notes, scribble and prepare religiously. Be very disciplined, be very consistent, put your persistent effort in order to clear prelims. Solve CSAT, solve all the PYQs, solve test series religiously. All the very best. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.